You can begin just lying flat or feet together, knees out, or plant your feet and let your knees lean towards each other. Just whatever works for you. Close your eyes if you like. You can either rest your hands on your body somewhere or just on the floor. Notice your breath. As you find your comfortable stillness, your breath will slow down and get deeper, helped by just focusing on it. Taking in the movements of your breath and your contact with the floor. Scan your whole body, head to toe. Take in whatever sensations you notice, especially if there's anything that doesn't feel good right now. Making note of it, help you remember to find your best practice by modifying or skipping whatever you need to. If there are any sore spots, you can think of sending your breath there, any place that feels tender, tight, or not so good in any way. Like sending some TLC, send the breath into those places. Before we start moving around, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth with a sigh. If you had your legs extended or your knees out, draw your knees up and plant your feet. So let's all come here with the feet about hip distance apart, heels close to your butt. Reach your arms out to the sides, palms up. If anything's in the way, you can always bend your elbow. Cross your right ankle over your left knee or above your left knee. Feel your shoulder blades pressing to the floor. We want to keep them grounded as you let your legs fall to the left and turn your head to the right. Slowly come back up to center. Cross your legs the opposite way. And when you're ready, begin to twist the opposite way. Slowly come back to center. Uncross your legs. Hug your knees to your chest and explore rocking and rolling movements to massage your back against the ground. Inhale, reach your hands and feet up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, draw your knees towards your chest, draw your elbows to the floor, keep your fingers pointing up. And do it a few more times. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, draw those limbs down and in. And let's start to sit up. You can do that by hugging your knees and rocking back and forth, or tipping onto one side and pressing your hands to the floor to lever yourself up. Find a nice comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you sit up on props like I do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you cross your legs. Maybe you don't. Maybe you kneel and sit up back towards your heels in hero pose. Whatever works for you. Maybe you have a dog in front of you. Maybe you don't. Let your arms hang loose at your sides. Raise your right shoulder towards your ear. Slide it back and let it down. And then your left shoulder up and back and down. Let your chin fall towards your chest. Nice and slowly start to roll your head in gentle circles. Or if encountering any tight spots in the neck, pause, making circles to rock back and forth at those places. And I'm going to check if I can make the lighting on my video better here while you loosen your neck. Yeah. One adjustment to the real light in the room and one digital lighting adjustment. Now let's change the direction of these circles. At least one dog feeling pretty engaged here today with the yoga. It's just part of practice now. When Brady steps in, I'm still doing the movements in my head for timing purposes. So pretty. When you finish the next circle, you can lift your chin and face forward. Arms out to the sides, fingertips on the ground, staying long in your spine. Inhale, raise your right arm up alongside your head. As you exhale, let your arm drape over your head. And just let the weight of your arm draw your head to the right. And for a little more extension, you could lift the left hand if you want and reach out through your fingertips. Not very high. Just feeling for the longest, whatever position puts this muscle, this trapezius, in its longest position. Let that left hand down if it's raised. Let your neck be passive, and let your right hand slide slowly across and down to your cheek, and use that right arm to lift your head. Let that hand down. Inhale, lift your left arm. Exhale, let it drape over. And gently draw your head to the left. Extending out, if you like, through your right fingertips. And the trickiest part of this sequence is maybe the keeping the neck passive and letting the hand and the arm lift the head back up. If you've ever gone to like a chiropractor or had a massage where they reposition you, it's a challenge to let your body be inert and let someone else move it. And it's, I think, even more challenging to let a part of your body be inert and make sure another part is doing the work. So if your right hand's raised, let it down. Do your best to let your neck be passive. Let the left hand slide over and down. Let the arm lift the head. Let this hand down. And let's walk the right hand behind and the left hand over to the right leg. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist some more. Work your way up from the waist and just ask on each exhale if there's further to go, if there's some more room there. Let your twist unwind. And go the other way. Walk the left hand behind. Bring the right hand to your left leg. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist some more. And let that twist unwind. Rest your hands in front of you. Walk them forward. Let your neck release. Simple, loose forward fold. Breathe into your back, or think of sending your breath into any place that needs it. Any tight spots, any sore spots. Inhale, walk your hands back and sit up. Take your time to shift up onto your hands and knees. Or sit down onto your hands and knees. Shift onto your hands and knees. Shift over, shift sideways. Squaring things off. Adding padding if you need it under the knees. Reach back and press against the ball of your left foot. Relax the pressure on the foot and swing it out to the side. Maybe you can bring it in line with your hip if it's okay if it doesn't quite go that far. Exhale, sit back a little towards your right heel and inhale to glide forward again. Pay attention to how this feels on the left inner thigh so you don't overdo it. So sometimes a little goes a long way. Be nice and slow, nice and gentle. And if it feels good to pause at the back end of the movement or the forward end of the movement, pause where you like. And then pause here with your shoulders above your wrists again. And going into this a little further, walk your hands forward. Let your head come down between your arms like you're in downward facing dog. Walk your hands over to the right, maybe a foot, maybe more. I think I did about 1.5 feet. Press away from the floor with those hands and send your right hip or right cheek 2 inches towards your right heel. Walk your hands slowly back to center line and then back in below the shoulders. Carefully swing that left leg back to center line. Bring that knee down. Take a few breaths of cow and cat pose. Inhale, bring your heart forward, head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up, head and tailbone come down. After the next exhale, come back to table. Reach back and press against the ball of your right foot. Ease off a bit. Swing that leg slowly out to the side. And start to explore that gentle rocking. Remember to start small. Sit back a little and glide forward again at your own pace. Maybe one side moves more easily than the other. Got some tightness on this side I didn't feel on the other side. That is pretty standard, but it's okay if both feel about the same. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. Bringing the shoulders above the wrist for a moment. No more rocking. Walk your hands forward again. Let your neck release and your head hang. Walk your hands over to the left. And send the left hip just a little towards the left heel. Slowly walk your hands back towards center. Back in under the shoulders. Excuse the microphone noise. I hit the phone. I don't know how loud that was on Zoom. Swing your leg back to center. Let your knee down. And take a few cow and cat breaths again. And we're going to start to make our way towards standing. You can use blocks under your hands if you like. Step your left foot up there by your hands and step your right foot up next to it. Hang out in your forward fold. Sway around, feeling for length in the back of the body. Letting everything lengthen a bit more before we stand up all the way. Bending and flexing the legs. Nod your head a little. And shake your head nice and gently. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach out and up. Take hold of your left wrist with your right thumb and forefinger. And on an exhale, bend to the right. On an inhale, come up. Switch to the other wrist. And exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, reach out to the sides. Exhale, reach for your shoulder blades for a hug, or if you like, take eagle arms. If you're an eagle, then reach forward and up through your hands and elbows. Inhale, open up again. As you exhale, cross the arms the opposite. Inhale, open up. Exhale, arms down. And let's start through series of warrior poses and mini flows. Hands by your heart. Step your left foot back, planted at about a 45-degree angle near the edge of the mat. Right foot parallel to the mat near the other edge. So take up like the whole width of the mat. If you have a mat. If you don't have a mat, place your feet wider than shoulders, wider than the distance between your shoulders. You bend the right knee. Don't send it further forward than the right ankle. And look down to check that that right knee is aimed where the right toes are aimed, in the direction of the mat. Raise your arms. And then let your shoulders relax down just a bit. So they're not scrunched up towards your ears, creating tension, excess tension. Turn your pinkies in towards each other so your palms face back. And there is Warrior One, the basic. And some variations, draw your elbows to your ribs. Lower your forearms parallel to the floor. Keep the elbows in. Inhale, slide your hands further apart. Exhale, slide them in front of you again. Do that a few more times. Inhale, open, exhale, return. And now raise your arms, maybe point at where the wall meets the ceiling. Something like this. The angle's not too important. Not straight up, not straight in front, in between somewhere. And keeping the lower body as it is. Exhale, bow towards your right knee and sweep your arms back. And inhale, stand up and raise those arms again. So at your own pace, a few more times. Exhale, bow, reach back. This is Humble Warrior. Exhale, come back up here. This one is maybe, I think it's Exalted Warrior, if I remember right. Not that we focus overly much on the names of the postures here. And then next time from here, bring your hands to your hips. And we'll start to transition to Warrior Two. Pivot your left foot, open further, so it's perpendicular to your right foot. And then slide the heel back. So now both feet are on the same edge of the mat. Square your shoulders above your hips. Check the right knee. I like to deepen my stance. That's what my body wants. When I switch my feet from Warrior One to Warrior Two, it feels steadier to me to have a little more distance between the feet. Feel for grounding in the ball of the front foot, outer edge of the back foot. Reach your arms to the sides, palms down, and look out past your right fingertips. There's Warrior Two. And we'll do some rotation in the arms to open the shoulder girdle some more. Inhale, turn your palms up, rotating back, and then exhale, rotate forward. Feel free, if it helps you get more rotation or just feels better, bend your elbows as much as you like. See if you can tune into the sensation of your shoulder blades sliding up and down your back. As you rotate back, they slide down. As you rotate forward, they slide up. And it's okay if you can't tune into that. It's happening anyway. Incredibly mobile things, those shoulder blades. Now let's turn just the right palm up and we'll reverse warrior. Keep the lower body as it is. Inhale, tip back, reach up. Look up towards that right hand. Your left hand might just rest lightly on your left leg or come to your left hip for support or slide across the lower back towards your right hip in a half bind. Breathe into your right side, reverse warrior. On an exhale, tip forward, reach forward, side angle pose. Right arm to right leg, resting lightly. Left arm overhead. So there's this long line between the left foot and the left hand. If you like, make some slow circles with the left arm. Any direction you like. I like to do a couple circles in each direction. That's what feels good to my shoulders. And if you want to play with some more core engagement, you can reach the right arm here in the front or here to the side, still keeping the lower body where it is. Feel that core go to work more. If your arm's extended, bring it back to your leg. And we'll dance between reverse warrior and side angle. Inhale, tip back, reach up. Exhale, tip forward, reach forward. Follow your breath. And from your next side angle, inhale to come back up to warrior two. Now we'll do another dance to gentle warrior. Inhale, start to lengthen the right leg, raise your arms, turn your head to the left. Hands touch, gentle warrior. Exhale, return, arms lower, turn the head to the right, bend the right knee. Inhale, glide up. Exhale, down. And then stop at the next warrior two. Triangle pose. Lengthen the right leg most of the way. Keep a little bend in it. Draw your left hip back and slide your right hand forward. And then tip 90 degrees. Right hand down, left hand up. Big deep breaths in triangle pose. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Inhale, reach your right hand forward and stand. Bring your right hand to your hip. Pivot onto the ball of your left foot. Coming through high lunge. Big push off the left foot to step forward. Maybe it's more than one step. Ooh, maybe we all need a drink now. I need a drink. Maybe you needed the drink during the sequence. Kind of a long sequence. Hot here. About 90 degrees Fahrenheit now. And 1,000 ml this morning. So when you're ready, hands at your heart. Set up the warrior one. On the other side, right foot back, left foot forward. And we build the posture from the ground up, like building a house, right? So the foundation is grounding in the ball with the left foot and the outer edge of the right foot, checking that left knee. And when that's all steady, raise the arms, let the shoulders melt down a bit, turn your pinkies in. Bring the forearms parallel to the floor. Elbows to the ribs. Inhale, slide the hands apart. Exhale, slide them to the front. Making these adjustments with my right leg. My right hip is complaining. Think you're nice and steady and comfortable, and then something starts saying otherwise. Now let's raise those arms, maybe point at the corner where wall meets ceiling. Exhale, bow towards your knee, reach your arms back. Inhale, rise. At the pace of your breath, a few more times. And then bring your hands to your hips. Pivot your right foot open, perpendicular to the left. Slide it in line behind the left. Deepen the stance if you like. Square your shoulders above your hips. Extend your arms. Look to the left. Inhale, rotate back. Exhale, rotate forward. Remember, if it feels better for you to bend your elbows, go ahead. Sometimes that brings more mobility into the shoulders. Now turn just the left palm up, keeping the lower body pretty still. Inhale, reverse warrior, tip back and reach up. Breathing deeply into your left side. On an exhale, tip forward and reach forward. Come to side angle. If you like, make circles with your right arm. And if you like, extend your left arm. If your left arm's extended, bring it back to your leg. And begin to dance. Inhale, reverse. Tip back, reach up. Exhale, tip forward, reach forward. It can be helpful to watch your left hand as you glide back and forth. Helps keep you steady, aligned in a steady fashion. Some people like to say, picture your body moving between two panes of glass. But maybe you're claustrophobic. I think watching the hand keeps the hand on the same plane as the feet and the legs. Just try to keep the movement steady. And if we fall, that's okay. That's part of practice, you know, if you lose your steadiness. From your next side angle, inhale up to warrior two. Inhale, glide up to gentle warrior. Exhale, glide down to warrior two. This movement is maybe simpler to stay in that plane. I've also heard too, instead of the body between two panes of glass, imagine your back is against the wall while you do this. Maybe that's not claustrophobic that way. And the mind is powerful. You know, if you focus on something like that, you can start to feel sensations that aren't connected to what your body's doing. You imagine that your shoulder blades and your butt cheeks are pressed to the wall while you do this. You can feel that wall, even though there's no wall there. Just like when you say, you know, send your breath into the tight places. Maybe you have a hamstring that's tight and you imagine you're sending your breath there. Well, you know where your lungs are. You know your breath didn't go to your leg. From your next warrior two, lengthen the left leg most of the way. Slide the right hip back and the left hand forward and tip to find your triangle. Take those nice deep breaths, lungs open way up here. Right hand to your hip. Inhale, reach your left arm forward and stand. Left hand to your hip. Pivot onto the ball of your right foot. And step forward. It almost fell as I pivoted my foot. See, that happens. And this yogi needs a drink, maybe all yogis, maybe the dogs. Not my dog. He's on the couch now off camera. And let's have a seat. I was thinking of doing some more standing things, and then I checked the time. It's time to sit. Bring the soles of your feet together and bring your heels in close to your pelvis. Interlace your fingers. Hold your toes between your hands. And then we do this little wriggle. Shift the bones in your seat closer to the ground to tilt your pelvis forward and open your hips. And if you like, bounce your knees, flap your butterfly wings. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Picture your spine nice and long, like you're looking at yourself in profile. Tipping forward with that long spine, hinging at the hips. If anyone tells you to hinge at the waist, that's a false hinge. There's no hinge there. If you look at a human skeleton. Then let your spine round, let your head drop, breathe into your hips. And some folks like here to press the arms down to the inside of the legs. That's where your arms land, and it feels good to do so. Go ahead. Inhale, slowly sit up. Now let's keep the feet together and scoot them forward. move the heels away from the pelvis. And we'll do this pretzel fold. You can reach over your ankles and then front like that, or if it's accessible, under your ankles, and walk your hands forward on the mat, whether they're under or over your ankles. Let your neck relax again, your head hang. Breathe into your back or any other place that could use some TLC. You can let your arms go slack, or keep it more active by continuing to reach forward with your hands, like walking them forward, further tractioning with the arms. Inhale, slowly walk your hands back and lift your torso. Use your arms to nudge your knees towards each other, and then extend your legs. Flex your feet back towards you. Inhale, reach out and up overhead. Exhale, fold down over those legs. Let the knees bend as needed. Inhale, think of lengthening up through the crown of the head. Exhale, think of lowering forward, some more hinging at the hips. Resist using your arms and your hands to yank yourself further forward. Let the breath sort of ratchet you further down if it's going to. Maybe they're just thoughts of lengthening and lowering. Some degree of lengthening happens when you breathe in, whether you can tune into it or not. And maybe you lower some more, or maybe there's just the thought of lowering. Inhale, walk your hands back up your legs, lift your torso, and draw your knees, and again, plant your feet. Bring your hands to the floor behind you. Wiggle your feet out by the edges of the mat or wider than your shoulders if you don't have a mat. Let the knees go to one side, turn the head to the other side, come through center, and do the opposite a few more times. We're just exploring space we've cleared in the hips. So it's not about pushing your knees down to the floor. They might touch the floor, they might not. Just let them go where they want to go, where your hips feel okay. I used to watch people doing this, and my knees weren't anywhere near the floor, and I kind of marveled at it or worried about it. And over time, my hips opened, and most of the time, my knees will come down to the floor. But when they don't, I don't worry about it. Just observe, like, okay, hips are tighter today or something. And let's bring the feet in closer, same distance apart as the hips. Come down gently and slowly onto your back. You can place a block between your knees if you like to do that for bridge pose. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift your hips. If you want a deeper heart opener, clasp your hands under you, reach your knuckles towards your heels, and draw your shoulder blades towards each other. If you're doing that, release your hands. Exhale, slowly lower your hips. And explore floating up and down in bridge at your own pace. And while you do that, I'm going to share a bit about a funny visual that just happened. And maybe you didn't see it because you're in bridge, but the screens I have here on the side of the house, or they're loose. They hang like curtains. They're not like attached to a frame. And so right after I took a drink of water, the screen blew in towards me and hit the water bottle and tipped it over and conked me in the head. There's a moment to feel very glad it's a plastic and rubber water bottle, not one of those metal or glass ones. And a moment, take the opportunity whenever it arises to laugh at yourself or laugh at me, to laugh. Laughter is good medicine. Now let's take a supported bridge. Pause with your hips raised. Place a prop at the base of your spine and settle down onto that support. And even when you think you're settled down onto it, sometimes there's some engagement going on. So just check in with your legs, your feet, your lower back. Is anything engaged? Is anything trying to help the block hold you up? We know intellectually that the block can hold everything, but maybe there's some engagement. Some part of the body doesn't trust that block's not going anywhere. Your body instinctively likes to be on the ground. And then when you put something like this between your body and the ground, it feels, maybe it doesn't feel insecure, but it feels less secure to the body than just being flat on the ground. If you imagine breathing through the block, that can also help the body relax, soften around that support. I don't know why. I don't know who figured that out, but thank you, whoever you were. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift your hips. Take out that prop that's been holding you up. Exhale, slowly lower down. And just pause after you land. Let your sacrum reconnect with the ground. Reclaim that instinctive security of being on the ground. If you had a block between your knees, move that away. Hug your knees. Rock and roll on your back. This can feel particularly nice after doing the supported bridge. Counter pose. Because, maybe resting on that prop, limited circulation, press on some nerves. think before coming to yoga practice, we don't think about our sacrum much. Maybe you didn't even know that word. And then you get into yoga class, and some days you think about it a lot. Mine's been acting up. So I've been thinking about it even when I'm not talking about it because it's feeling tender. So this massage against the ground feels extra nice today. And let's make our supine twists here the deeper ones with the cross knees. So you can let your left foot land on the ground, cross your right knee over your left knee. Or if that doesn't work for you, cross your ankle over your knee or split the difference, cross like your calf over your knee. Arms out to the sides, palms up. Now, I said this would be a deeper twist. You decide how deep it's going to be, how it's going to feel by choosing how close to your chest you're going to bring your knees. So for a gentler twist, keep that left foot where it is. Let your legs go to the left, turn your head to the right. If you want more, and you can always, move the knees on that plane as you twist. Try to keep the shoulders grounded. And let your breath bring you out. No target, no destination here. This is one of those moves that sometimes brings cracking sounds from the back, from the lower spine. But that also is just something that happens, not something to target or aim for. Some days my back does that a little or a lot. Today, none so far. I was working with a new student in private sessions last year, and he counted as we did these twists, and it's something like 15 cracks in his back on one twist, one side. And who knows, maybe it happens with one side and not the other, just like it happens some days and not the others. Take your time to bring your head and your legs back up to center. Cross your legs the opposite way. You can start with the right foot planted, and then you decide whether you're bringing your knees in closer or not. When you're ready, shoulders staying grounded, let your legs fall to the right and turn your head to the left. Take your time to come back to center. Uncross your knees. Reach your feet up towards the ceiling. Reach your hands up to grab your legs or your feet. Play with moving your arms and legs around any way that feels good for you. if there's some other inversion you prefer, go ahead and explore that. Maybe it's a shoulder stand or legs up the wall or plow. I always enjoyed doing headstands, and now I can't do them anymore because of having 3 discs removed from my neck and 3 of those vertebral joints fused together. So you all, as far as I know, have 7 bones in your neck. I technically have 4. Because 11 years ago, 6 and 7 became 1. And last year, 3, 4, 5 became 1. So no more headstands. When you feel complete in whatever inversion you're enjoying, make your way to Shavasana. Start to find some deeper breaths. And explore movement little by little. Building up to bigger and bigger movements. Take your time When you're ready to gently sit up. And bring your hands to your heart. Thank you for sharing in practice today. The light within me sees and honors that same light in each of you. Namaste.